Before I continue, I need to emphasize the title of this video. Why? Because it's a disclaimer. I'm not attempting to speak to white men. I am speaking to white men. The racial divide in this country is far too important to play games with syntax. This title grabs their attention immediately, and that's exactly the point. Now let's begin. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel about white men as a whole and why I think we need to talk. I've tried to have this conversation for years, and now I believe I have my message dialed in. The political atmosphere and social divide have kept us apart for too long, and it's time we address it. For years, my heart was in the way. I struggled trusting authority, not because I have a problem with structure, but because of the abuse of power. I also see that white men have the same experience, depending on how you look at it. A black man who struggles to get a job is the equivalent of a white man being passed over because of affirmative action. Yes, that statement might trigger people, but I didn't make the rules. The English language was weaponized long before I ever spoke a word. So here's what I have to say to white men. I respect you. I can only speak for myself when I say this, but I know I'm not alone. When our country was compromised, I watched how hard white men from all over the country hit the social atmosphere. The NFL, NBA, even NASCAR all wish they had the level of charisma white men poured into the social arena. I'm not just talking about Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, or Donald Trump. I'm talking about content creators, social media influencers, teachers, and businessmen. The ones who fix things and started showing the world how it's done. If that's not a biblical principle, then it has to be a Solomon move. Before I ever knew of Myron Golden, I knew about Carlton Sheets. We merely had a different battle to fight as poor black men trying to escape poverty. Yes, there were distractions for me like fast women, fast cars, and fast money. And if you get the carrot game of pursuit, you understand that order. But when I finally figured out the rat game, my mind was made free. It was simply a matter of time before life caught up with my new mindset. That's when my livelihood was challenged. I don't care if it was innocent or intentional, that's not happening again. And if I must draw a line in the sand, I'm picking the side of men. Black, white, Hindu, it doesn't matter to me. The last time I checked, every God says to fight corruption. My God just tells me to do everything in my power to fight as the last resort. If you're still watching at this point, I feel confident to ask for your subscription. But let me make this clear. I am not after subscribers. I'm after you. I believe that you're bleeding. I believe that you're tired. And I believe that you're silently conforming to the status quo because of the weight you carry, as a man is getting too heavy. Your family may not fully understand why Superman is becoming more like Clark Kent. It's not out of weakness. It's battle fatigue. That's the real tragedy. It is so painful being reduced to Clark Kent just to be close to Lois Lane, and then have to conform to a system that drains our essence in the name of profit? Now that's just humiliating. So we numb the pain. We take painkillers to endure the dopamine rush. We inhale particles that will one day claim our lives. We will take on any challenge, even at the risk of our own bodies, out of obedience, love, and devotion. But when they came from my family through systems that were meant to educate them, that's when I broke my silence. So I picked a lane, and I drove past every single checkpoint on cruise control. They didn't even notice I left. And for the men who get that, what's that lyric? Once I get my money right? Thank you for listening.